Hello everyone, you are watching the third video in the multiplication and division series. Today you will learn to solve equal group problems by skip counting with materials. Let's first check your understanding with this checkpoint. Here I am going to drop down some counters in groups and I would like you to skip count them to find the total number of counters. Here we go. So, did you count in twos? What was your final number? I got 8. Did you get 8 too? Let's have another go. What was your final number now? I got 12. Did you get 12 too? One last try. Remember to skip count to get to the total. Did you skip count in fives? What did you get? I got 20. Did you get that too? If you were able to skip count all three patterns and get the correct totals, well done. You can move on to video 4. If you are still learning skip count, then continue with this lesson. First, we will use our number strips to skip count in toes. Our number strip goes up to 20, and we have some counters underneath. The counters have been arranged in alternating color groups that show a skip counting pattern of 2. Let's see what happens when I slide the counters onto the number strips in groups of 2. Note the number that the second counter lands on each time. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I counted 7 groups of 2. Did you? The final number that I covered was 14. So I know that 7 groups of 2 is a total of 14 counters. If I had 2 more counters to place onto my number strip, where do you think the second counter will land? If you guessed 16, well done. But what about another 2? If you guessed 18, then you've got it. Here is our blank number strip again, and the counters underneath are now arranged in alternating color groups that show a skip counting pattern of 3. Let's see what happens when I slide the counters onto the number strips in their groups of 3. Note the number that the third counter lands on this time. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, yes, 5 groups of 3. The final number that I covered was 15, so I know that 5 groups of 3 is a total of 15 counters. If I had 3 more counters to place onto my number strip, where do you think the third counter will land? If you guessed 18, well done. This time our blank number strip goes all the way to 30. The counters underneath are now arranged in alternating color groups that show a skip counting pattern of 5. Let's see what happens when I slide the counters onto the number strips in their groups. This time, note the number that the 5th counter lands on each time. 5, 10, 15, 20. I counted 4 groups of 5. Did you? The final number that I covered was 20. So I know that 4 groups of 5 is a total of 20 counters. If I had 5 more counters to place onto my number strip, where do you think the 5th counter will land? If you guessed 25, you got it. What about another 5? Yep, 30. Finally, let's quickly revisit the checkpoint. Skip count groups in your head and guess the total. Here we go. 8, 12, 20. If you got all of these totals correct, then you are ready to move on to the next lesson. If not, go back and review this video as many times as you need to until you feel confident with using materials for skip counting. Next, you can move on to watching video 4 in this series, where you can learn to skip count by imaging. Bye for now.